Good morning, everybody. Ross Skorzewski coming at you today for the first time with your Wednesday morning quick hit with Ross Alan Skorzewski. It's an honor to be able to spend a little bit of time with you on a Wednesday morning, bringing you what I hope to be will be some creative, fresh perspectives that could help possibly set you on a path today to experience maybe for your mindset and your perspective, a better aspect that you've wrestled with, putting into motion for quite some time. One of the major things that we put into motion all the time here at the Wellness Way is the idea that we're constantly training. We're constantly pushing ourselves in the area of personal growth and development. So the reason why we're calling this a quick hit is because I'm not going to spend a lot of time, because really when it comes right down to it, sometimes all we need is a fresh perspective in a couple areas that will help get our minds thinking about our day potentially in a different way than we have before. And I like the idea quick hit. It's something that I used years ago when I was pastoring in Stevens Point, Wisconsin with Mark Gungor at New Beginnings Church. I was a youth pastor and I thought, you know what? Teens sometimes have a really difficult time already as it is when they're struggling with identity, trying to figure out who they are, how they fit into society, into their social groups. So I thought maybe why not give them a little bit more encouragement? So what I decided to do is I came up with a daily idea called quick hits. And what I did is I focused on positive affirmation reinforced with scripture for them, because we were in the church at the time, in the hopes that they would see this in their morning and that it would alter their mindset, alter their perspective on themselves to see that they really are valuable, that they have everything that they need to succeed for that day. So when we talked about this, Doc's like, you know what? You do this all the time. You've been involved in the church. You've done everything from marriage counseling individuals, teenagers, couples, whatever that looks like, single people as they're going into marriage. Why don't you come on staff at the Wellness Way, take your leadership and personal growth and development skills and incorporate that into developing our staff, not only professionally, but also personally. So a couple of weeks ago, this was actually right after the first of the year, Dr. Patrick Flynn, who's riding right now this morning. He's driving with his family. They're going skiing, and he's going to have a wonderful time with his family. But he's like, you know what? You need to step out. And one of the things that's great about Dr. Patrick Flynn is he loves the idea of finding the potential and seeing the potential in people, but he just doesn't see it. He pushes people out into action to the place where they actually have to work on bringing those wonderful skill sets that we all have to the world around us. Thus, you getting to have this time with me now on Wednesday morning for a quick hit between 15 to 20 minutes. It is Wednesday, hump day. Mike, hump day. Quick story, I might do this from time to time. I remember as a kid in grade school, Jefferson High School, there was this custodial engineer, we'll put it that way. His name was Shorty. There was nothing short about this guy. He was like a double wide door, and he's about 7 feet tall. But always at lunchtime, here we would come on a Wednesday, he'd be sweeping and sweeping and sweeping, and he'd sprinkle this weird pink sawdust looking material all over the floor, I don't know, in hopes of collecting dust. But he would walk around with a smile on his face. He was always full of energy, and he was always quick to bring a smile to our face. And Shorty would come around on Wednesdays and say, it's hump day, it's hump day. And obviously got a bunch of elementary kids wondering, what the heck do you mean by hump day? So we're just laughing and giggling. But the idea is, Shorty, this individual who has left an impression on my life, now many years later, 35 plus years later, still sticks out in my mind. Why? Because he was able to take himself into a world full of little rugrats. We're talking kindergarten all the way up through 6th grade. And nobody knows really what was going on in his personal life. Nobody knows what was going on in his mind. Whether it was good or bad, nobody knew his circumstances, and he didn't bring it to the job. Whenever he was around us, especially in the cafeteria, when we were all sitting down eating our lunches, and Mom, I love you, but those lunches were crazy, and I get it. I mean, who doesn't love white like Wonder Bread with big bricks of butter and a little slab of bologna? I mean, it was awkward at the time, and Doritos chips. So you'd take the Doritos chips, right? Open that sucker up, take the Doritos and smush it down if you didn't have cheese. And here would come Shorty every Wednesday. It's hump day. It's hump day. But I laugh and I chuckle. Why is this even relevant for a quick little story to start off this series on motivation? Quick hits for you. Because the reason why it sticks out with me is that Shorty, for some odd reason, was able to bring himself in to Jefferson Middle School, elementary school. It wasn't even, it was elementary. Back in those times, if you know, like today, our grade systems are weird. I don't get it. It was kindergarten through 6th grade, 7th through 9th was junior high, and then we had 10th through 12th for senior high. But Shorty came. His perspective was spot on. He was focused on the tasks at hand. I'm sure at the end of the day, was it really exciting for him to push around a room, to collect garbage, to wipe up and clean up our messes that we made, to go around picking up after everybody else? Was that the one thing that he looked forward to every day? What was his perspective? What was his mindset? But we as the kids, we never really saw anything that was negative. If anything, sure, because we're all humans and we get swayed by emotion. There might have been a few down times here and there, but he always had a smile on his face. And that still sticks out to me today because really when it comes down to it, I think what Shorty probably had to do is embrace and love his job, but bring himself to a place where his perspective was right. That he was focusing on the things that mattered most in life, and that maybe he could spill over a little bit of himself every day and influence us as little ones, but possibly even those whom he served and worked with as teachers, counselors, principals, vice principals, that he could come into that world and be a breath of fresh air. Perspective and mindset. Today, I promise you this. If you can get anything out of these quick hits as we go on in the weeks, maybe this will become a show that just stays on Wednesday because it is the middle of the week, and maybe this will be a little extra breath of fresh air that will help get you through the end of your week. Maybe we'll go to more days. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but it's totally up to you. And I would even ask you this, as you're watching this, like and share, and I want to thank you. If you do spend this 15 to 20 minutes with me every Wednesday morning, thank you so much. Comment, ask questions. If you want some insight, maybe a fresh perspective on something that you're facing, ask. I will be more than happy to respond either via personal message or even address it here on the Quick Hit Show. Fresh perspective. It's even a company that I started years ago when I was working in the church. I was looking to come alongside individuals who were struggling with areas of their life. And I created a little side business for coaching, for life coaching, and I called it Fresh Perspective. Because in all reality, what this show also is about, what got me to think about Shorty even the past couple days as a custodial engineer who has imprinted in the back of my brain this idea of positivity in a world where it could have been so easy for him to be just focused on pushing a broom and collecting garbage and picking up messes, but he chose to reflect life. He chose to be a life-giving agent. So I started thinking of fresh perspective and the life coaching that I started to do. Why? Because I believe that sometimes we as individuals, no matter what our mindset is, no matter what our perspective is, that we can be swayed by our emotions. That we wake up with this intent to bring the best representative of ourselves to the world, that we do life every day. But sometimes life happens. Those of you who are married, you can say, my husband happened. Those of you who are men, you say, well, my wife happened, right? Or my kids, or my job, my boss, my coworkers, my brothers, my sisters, my aunts. Life happens. And it can influence our ability to step out freshly each new day with a healthy perspective and a healthy mindset on being able to bring to the world around us exactly what it's looking for from us. And that is positivity. That's life. That's a smile. That's confidence. That's not what I'm saying, arrogance, but confidence. Belief in yourself so that when you're walking out and you're doing life and you're engaging life in every aspect from your professional to your personal to your social and relational, that everything to a degree is getting the best representation of who you are. 2 words, obviously, if you're listening this morning already, and even if you're watching this later, I promise you this, you're hearing this word and you're going to hear it a lot. We talk about it constantly here in the office. When I'm calling doctors and I'm talking to them, we've got 47 plus offices and we call all the time and we're talking about simply connecting, sharing thoughts, tweaking our mindsets, dealing with everyday struggles and strife and stuff that comes in professionally as well as personally. But really tackling our perspective, as well as our mindset. So as I talk about these two words, the first one that I'm going to write down here, and depending on which camera angle we're going to go to, I'm going to go back. I kind of feel like we're going into Blue's Clues, right? I need my trusty little notebook here, and little Blue's going to pop up and he's going to stamp a paw. But why don't we go right here? Mind set. Now, I am going to use this for simple notes. I want you to understand that it's okay to use technology nowadays because we do all this in time. But here's a couple trains of thought when it comes to the idea of a mindset. There's a lot of trains of thought, but the two that I want to focus on today, number one, is asking this question: what is your approach? What's your perspective on your concept of mindset? Is it fixed? Which really means that if your mindset is fixed, you're fixed on the idea that your intellect, your talents, your abilities, the greatest things about you have come to a place in life where you have arrived, where you've come to that destination and nothing's changing, nothing's growing. It is what it is. Love me or leave me, baby. That's what it is. My mindset is fixed. If your mindset is fixed, and that's where you believe that you have arrived, then I think you're going to find yourself at a place where that very approach is going to be challenged quickly. Because if it's fixed and life happens and circumstances either come in a positive way or a negative way, your emotions influence that mindset, and you'll see that whether it's fixed or not, it's going to change whether your mindset and your ability to walk out in confidence that day is going to be either swayed towards positivity or negativity. Okay? So the second one is your mindset at a place where it is going to experience growth? That it is I don't know, we're just going to write this out real quick. There's probably an A that belongs in there, but I have no stinking clue at this point in time, and nor do I care. Check it out, spell check for yourself. But anyways, the idea of whether it's fixed or you're going to allow it to come to a place where there is growth and it's flexible. We believe here at The Wellness Way, and as long as you're looking to be that individual that is diving into personal development and you're being encouraged to read books out there towards self-betterment, or possibly even a person of faith who utilizes scriptures or whatever that might be to better yourself and to better your mindset, you would have to agree that you are putting yourself at a place where your mindset is flexible, that it is allowed to be inspired, that it's not fixed, that there is information that can come in and skew you towards positivity. Also, if you allow the messages of the world around you, those naysayers, those thoughts and comments will also come in at a place where your mindset is flexible and there's growth in the idea that it could, if you allow yourself to entertain certain messages, you will find yourself skewed towards negativity. I'm of the idea that the mindset is always in a constant state of flex, that it's always at a place where it can be influenced, that it can be taken to the next level for you to experience life or possibly even death. Now, I'm not speaking physically, but I'm speaking to the idea that our thought process, our mindset really can set us up to succeed if we're embracing thought patterns that lead towards life or thought patterns that lead towards death. Here at The Wellness Way, it is a chiropractic clinic, unashamedly so. Any of the doctors would stand here and they would say, absolutely, I'm a chiropractor. But the three things that they focus on are trauma, toxins, and thoughts. Thoughts. It's one of the three T's that they focus on. It's one of the things that I love the most because that's where I can come in and I can take some of my skill sets and I can breathe life into the areas where people are struggling with thought. So mindset, as we kick off this episode, to think that as we move forward, the very reason for this show would be the idea that you have the ability every day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the emotional state that you're in, that you have the ability to influence your mindset with the types of messaging that you're allowing to come in, so that when you go out and greet the day with yourself, you can do so with a smile on your face because you've taken the time to invest into that mindset of yours, to take it from emotionally feeling disconnected, unworthy, unvalued, to a place of knowing you are worthy, that you are valued, and that the world needs the best expression of you. Your mindset changes and you go out and you win with the world around you. The second word that I want to focus on real quick in the last 4 minutes that we have, perspective. Perspective. Is it this? Is it positive or negative? What is it? Because to be honest with you, at the end of the day, and even at the beginning of the day, your perspective to see yourself, your perspective to see that day really hinges upon not on anyone else's thoughts other than yours. Once again, I believe that your thought process can be influenced, your mindset can be influenced. But here's what perspective really is. It's a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something. It's a point of view. What's your perspective today? It's Wednesday. It's hump day, as Shorty would say, and we have commercials. Bike, 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 bike. What's your perspective today already? As we look at the time right now, regardless of what time zone you're in, it's 9:16 Central Standard Time. What is your perspective for the rest of this day? What are you allowing those who are in your sphere of influence? How are you allowing them to manipulate, to mold, to shape your perspective on who you are and what you're bringing to the table in regards to what the world needs from you? Maybe you're a mom today and you're at home. What's your perspective on that? Maybe you're going through some things. Maybe you've got some kids at home that are sick, or you've got some family members that don't agree with you on certain things, or you're at odds with your husband, or you're on the job today and you've got some coworkers that you just can't seem to gel with. What's your perspective? Do you feel valuable? Are you at odds with your boss, spouse? Or let me ask you this, are you like me? Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I don't need anybody else's words. I don't need anybody else's influence on me. My own perspective needs tweaking because I don't even feel a certain way about myself that is ready to go out and conquer Wednesday and bring the best version of Ross that I possibly could be to the world that needs me every day, not only professionally, personally, relationally, and more. Perspective. Is it positive? Or is it negative? What's your mindset? Is it fixed? Or will you believe that what you still have, regardless of your age, regardless of where you've been, who's spoken into your life, where you think you are going, or where you truly are, is your mindset fixed? Or are you allowing yourself to come to a place where you're saying, maybe today is a new day for me to put myself on the radar to make sure that I'm working towards the best possible opportunity for me to give my time, my talents, my resources to the world around me in the best possible way. I say, as we say even here at the Wellness Way and we do in all of our trainings, it starts with mindset. Don't allow yourself to embrace thoughts and say, well, I've arrived, I have achieved, I have attained all enlightenment, because you know what? That's garbage. Because life's going to happen, it's going to challenge that train of thought, and you're going to find yourself out of control, spiraling out of control, and if not, you will find yourself coming to a place where you're in need of a different perspective and someone else to come alongside you to speak life into you and to get your eyes off of your circumstances and to remind you of the positive things in life. Stay at a place of growth. Stay at a place where you allow your thought patterns to be flexible, to be influenced. Your perspective every day, regardless of how you feel, I would ask that you do this. Stay positive. I know what it's like to be negative. I can do negativity all day long. The problem is the world around me deserves better than that, so stay positive. This is the first episode of our Motivational Quick Hit series. It is an honor to be able to do these with you. Share and like this. I promise you this, as we go into next week, I've got an exciting topic. Part of me wants to say it because I don't know if I want to, because if I do, you might not come back. But I'm going to focus in on the golden rule, but I'm also going to add a secondary element to it, and I don't want you to miss this. I promise you, the golden rule, it's not as easy as it's always talked about to execute. But the backside of it, what I'm going to bring to the table, it'll be funny, it'll be enlightening, and I promise you, you won't want to miss it. So thank you for joining us today, for joining me, Ross Alan Skorzewski. Why do I put my middle name in there? Because for the majority of my life, I've struggled with people being able to say my last name, Skorzewski. So I've always gone by Ross Alan, but here I'm Ross Alan Skorzewski. So here we are. Enjoy the rest of your midday. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you for joining me for this quick hit. We'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for joining.